Hello folks, hope you are doing well. So today we'll see how to track an end host in Cisco environment. So if you are a network engineer, you come across some issues like some user complaints that I'm facing frequent disconnections and maybe server team is complaining about, the server is having packet loss, and they create a ticket with network team and ask a network team to check on the issue. So if you are working in user uh, if you are working with a lot of users, you will have this issue all the time. And this video is about tracking the host in Cisco environment. So I've come across many newbies, I mean to say the new network engineers who are struggling with finding the end host. Consider we'll have a data center where we'll have 10 to 15 access switches, 2-3 distribution switches, 2 core switches. But when you just have an IP address of a server, you will need to track it down to its interface to see if there is anything wrong with the interface or not. So I'll demonstrate how you can track the interface in this environment. So in order to track the interface, we'll either need IP address of the server or the user machine, or we'll need MAC address of the server or the user machine. So the protocol which will help us to get this detail is the address resolution protocol, which maps MAC address to the IPs. So now you just have the IP of the server, which is 10.10.10.89. So first thing what you will check is how you can get the MAC address from the IP address. So this is the command where you will get the MAC address from the IP address, and it will eventually show you some basic information like since how long the host is up, which VLAN it belongs to, and the MAC address. So now we got the MAC address. Now we'll have to find out how this switch is learning the MAC address. Now let me just show you what I meant to say. So consider this is our environment. So we'll have many switches, switch A, switch B, switch C maybe, and we'll have connections to all the switches. So we'll have connections like this. So this switch learns the MAC address. So we'll have to find out via which interface the core switch is learning the MAC address. So command for that information, command for to get that information, we'll have to use the command show MAC address, then address, and give the physical address of the device. Let me see if that device is reachable or not. All right, that device is reachable. So we should get the interface, core interface through which the core is learning the MAC address. Now the core is learning the MAC address through interface gig 0x0. Now you will need to check what is the configuration of this interface. So basically this is a trunk interface. That means it may be going to some distribution switch. So you can check the CDP neighbors. Yeah, so it is going to the distribution switch 2. So now you have to get on the distribution switch 2 in order to track the host. So how will you get on the distribution switch? So because for that you will need IP address of the distribution switch. So we can get this information by this command show CDP neighbor, then interface, and give detail. Then it will give a lot of information, but we are interested in IP address only. So we'll get on the distribution switch 2. So I have configured SSH on this on all of the switches in my lab. So I'll just get on the distribution switch. All right, so we are on the distribution switch now. Now from here also, now we have many switches and we don't know if host is connected to this switch, or this switch. It could be here, it could be here, and it could be here. So if this is the distribution switch 2, we have one, two, three links where distribution switch 2 can learn about the end host. All right, then we'll have to check by or via which interface this distribution switch is learning the interface. So we are on the distribution switch 2. So what we'll do is, now we need a MAC address for that as well. So this is the MAC address we have. So we'll just give the command one more time. Yeah, so now we know that the distribution switch 2 is learning about those particular host via gig 0x1 interface. So let's see what is the configuration of gig 0x1 interface. Okay, this is also a trunk port, so it will again go to some other switch. So it could be another distribution switch, it could be access switch. So we'll have to find that. So the information about this is like, you will have to check the show CDP neighbor. Then we see two entries on distribution switch 2. One is about the core switch and another one is about the access switch number 6. So now you know that the distribution switch is learning about the host via gig 0x1. So it is lab access switch 6, and we'll have to get on the lab access switch 6. So for that, we'll need the IP address of that particular switch. So to get the IP address, you will have to use this command and it will give you the IP address. Now we got the IP address. Now you will have to get on the lab access switch 6. All right, now we are on the access switch 6. Then we'll have to again find out on the access switch 6 that through which interface this switch is learning about the user IP and the MAC address. So again, we'll have to give the same command where we will need the MAC address, and we'll have to give the same command, show MAC address table address and the physical address of the device. So now we know that the access switch 6 is learning about that particular server or the user via gig 0x0 interface. Now you see what is the running configuration of gig 0x0. Now it's an access switch which belongs to the VLAN 10. So now we know that this is the port where the user or the server is connected to. So basically, if you want to check more about the port, you can check by show interface gig 0x0 command, where you will see a lot of information. And sometimes we'll see runs, chants, input errors, CRC errors, which are related to either duplex settings or any physical cabling issue with that interface. So this is how you can track the end user or end device in Cisco environment. I hope this has been informative. and thank you for watching.